Good morning, Ms. Gloria and my classmates. Today, Mikhail Iskander and I, Eileen Davis, will be presenting our research paper on college students' views on recidivism and gender. Now I'll pass it on to Mikhail Iskander to present the introduction of our paper.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mikhail Iskander, and today I will be presenting on the introduction of our research paper. So before I get into why we chose our base research topic, let me talk about what is recidivism. Recidivism means the likelihood of an individual to reoffend or be reconvicted of a new crime. So to get straight into why we chose this, our base topic, which is recidivism and gender. We chose this topic as it is an interesting topic that should be talked about more, as it is very relevant in today's society. Besides that, it's also because there are not enough studies that are inclusive of the female gender. So, next, which is our research problem. Our research problem is to see if college students' views are biased against one gender when reoffending. We chose this research problem as we want to see if college students from the same social background would have the same views or same opinions when it comes to recidivism and gender, and to see if there are any intentional or unintentional biases. So the first of our two research questions is, do college students' views on recidivism follow what research has proven? So based on our literature review, based on the study by Frederick Silverstein, we found out that males are more likely to recidivate until the fourth reoffense than any further reoffending was more likely to be done by the female gender. So on to our second research question, which is, which gender do college students think is more likely to repeat their crimes? We chose this question as we just wanted to investigate whether or not college students have an unintentional or intentional bias against a gender when reoffending. Alright, so for the methodology section in our research paper, we have decided to go with a quantitative method. We chose this method as we wanted to know college students' opinions and their explanations on why they chose their answers. So we decided to go with an online survey questionnaire for our research paper. We came up with two identical surveys, the only difference in being that there are two different genders in both surveys. So for example, in survey 1 question 1, there would be a male. In survey 2 question 1 would be a female. So in each question, there would be a brief explanation of their current crime, an explanation of their past crimes, and the punishment that they are facing. So the reason why this info is same with each corresponding question is that so that the dependent variable, which is college students' views on recidivism, is only affected by the independent variable, which is the different genders. And lastly, we chose college students as our main demographic. We chose this. We only chose private students because this private college students, as this was our targeted demographic for our research study, and which is the main focus of our research study. Thank you.
Moving on to the findings section of our paper, we now had to calculate the answers to our questions from collecting all the results in each survey. This being said, we had to compare the results from survey 1 with survey 2. Therefore, we could compare male and female. The way we calculated the results, which are seen in the graph on this slide, is by finding the percentage of college students that answered yes for each criminal, yes being that they believe this criminal would repeat their crimes. So after we calculated this result, we put it in this table where we could compare them quickly and easily. For the first question, do college students' views on recidivism follow what research has proven? We can see that it mostly contradicts it. If you remember, Mikhail has explained about Frederick Silverstein's in-depth study. We have learned that males are more likely to recidivate up until the fourth crime. Above this, females are now the gender that is more likely to recidivate. Therefore, we can see in this graph that the red bar is always higher than the blue bar, no matter how many crimes are committed, which is why we say that it mostly contradicts it. mostly because, as we see, when there are 8 crimes committed, females are more likely to recidivate, as proven by Frederick Silverson's study and in college students' views on recidivism. However, we've concluded that this still contradicts Frederick Silverson's research, as this answer was derived not from the fact that females are more likely to recidivate, but from the overall trend that college students view females to be the gender more likely to recidivate. This is what answers our second question. Which gender do college students think is more likely to repeat their crimes? It is evident that the college students believe females to be more likely to repeat their crimes. However, the thing that is shocking is that even when it comes to the 8th crime, which is what we have concluded, that it's quite evident that the criminal will repeat their crimes, college students believe that males are not as likely to repeat as they were after the first crime. So not only do college students believe females to be more likely to recidivate, but they are also quite harsher when giving these answers, as they are more lenient against the males no matter what number of crimes they have committed. Lastly, we have our conclusion. This includes the limitations and discussions part of our paper. After collecting and analyzing information from our own surveys and from other research papers, we are able to conclude that college students are much harsher on repeating female criminals. This is said because college students believe females to always be the gender more likely to repeat their crimes, even though research has proven otherwise. Although the reason behind this is not conclusive, it may be due to the fact that there are much fewer females compared to male criminals. With this being said, perhaps when a college student sees a female criminal in comparison to the more often seen male, they believe that this female is more likely to stay in the criminal justice system longer. Many of our limitations come from the fact that due to COVID-19, we are stuck to our own homes. With this being said, we had to do online questionnaires instead of interviewing people face-to-face. The limitation caused by this is that some questions in our survey are quite close-ended, and even though we asked our participants why they have chosen this answer, we do not gain as much information as if we were to interview them face-to-face. Another one of our limitations include the fact that this survey was limited to private college students only. If we were able to branch out and send it to more college students, such as public colleges and even overseas colleges, we might see a much wider range of answers, and perhaps we get a different set of results. To conclude on my part, I believe that more research will help reduce the risk of recidivism and therefore is essential in ensuring that the crime throughout the years does not increase. I believe that it's very important that researchers and scientists look into why females are repeating crimes instead of just males, as the number of female convicted criminals is going up. Now I'll pass it on to Mickey to give his concluding statement. Thank you.
As for my final statement or my final thoughts, I would just like to say that since the risk of recidivism is rather high, the criminal justice system should find and implement better ways of punishment or better rehabilitation methods so that they can squash or even reduce substantially the risk of recidivism. And lastly, I've also found a newfound respect for those who actively publish research papers, as so much work goes into just making one research paper. Thank you. So with that, I conclude everything. Does anybody have any questions?